So in this video, we're going to talk about why the S210 WRX is absolutely one of the most disappointing things that have come to the news world of the automotive space. And you guys might know this channel and me for mostly my automotive news. I mean, some of you guys follow the journey of my car, but a lot of you guys have come here for the coverage on news and how Subaru are doing things, and the STI news and WRX news, and just information and engineering explanations about these cars and what's happening. And you'll have noticed that I didn't make an S210 video when it came out, and that was an intentional thing. And I think that that was more reflective of how disappointed I am. Look, I have a 2022 WRX right now. I've had a 2015, a 2016, and I'll kind of let the cat out of the bag. You guys are about to find out I bought another WRX with a blown engine. So I've had 4 WRXs, and I concurrently right now have two WRXs, which is more than the average person. I'm very much a super fan of these cars. But look, you know, Subaru has kind of let us down time and time again, and I wanted to make this video because I think that this letdown isn't necessarily, like, it is a letdown, but it's more of a reflection of where Subaru is going. They've basically made this a big announcement that I don't think that many people are talking about, and this is why, one, this video will be different from any other video or information you've seen, because everybody's looking for that, you know, grab. But I wanted to talk about what this really means in terms of car development for Subaru, and what it really means in terms of what they are what we can predict for the future in terms of what we're going to see from a, like, you know, this platform. And I think that this is a bit of a scary thing. So before we get too far into the video, I'm not going to have some huge spiel on this, but right below me, there's a subscribe button. If you haven't already clicked it, please consider clicking it. We've got some big mechanical projects coming to the channel with another WRX. I probably shouldn't have said that. That's a bit of an announcement that I didn't mean to make. But I'll also be keeping this WRX and doing tons of stuff on it. And if you just want to stay up to date in the world of these cars and parts, that's why. But what does this mean? So the S210, the people basically that have developed it is Subaru Technica International, which is STI. So this has come from the group that designs what is now almost like the STI versions of their car. Will the STI, the WRX STI, ever come back? I don't really think so. And from what I understand, this car in Japan is being marketed as the S210 WRX STI, which means that it's coming with the STI badge. And I mean, I guess that's not technically official yet, but I'm pretty sure that that is like the official, like the 500 units that are coming out will be the WRX STI S210 or S210 WRX STI. Now here's the problem, and these are the 2 insights that I think are the most important. One, I think that it's let's say this is like a light one. It's coming with less than 300 horsepower. They're calling it the tuned version with 296 horsepower. They're specifically using the tuned verbiage, you know, delineation. That's a really bad thing. I think that basically says Subaru is laid into their stance of, we create rally cars, which is fine. I love it. But at some point they're saying that, like, we don't feel like we need to compete with the rest of the world in terms of delivering power. And I think that objectively that's just the wrong stance, and I don't really understand it, but it's something that has been kind of continuing to culminate to this point where they've now released what is supposed to be their, like, flagship, oh my gosh, look at what we've built car, and it's only got 296 horsepower. And I'm sitting here standing on a car that, to the crank, right, I'm making over 400 horsepower to the crank, not to the wheels, to the crank, which is the same comparison as that S210. And it just doesn't make any sense to me, because I almost feel like if I wanted to spend whatever it's going to cost to get that car, I would want to be significantly faster than this car. I'm $31,000 into this car. Parts, tuned, everything. Making 400 plus crank horsepower for 31 grand, and I bought this car new. Let that sink in for a second. Yeah, I don't have all the bells and whistles that are going to make it a track monster like the S210, but what, I spend another couple grand and I get to a very similar place, and then what kind of conversation are we having? The hands have got to go into the pocket. It's like 10 degrees out Fahrenheit right now. It's cold. And I don't want this video to be construed as like this Debbie Downer spiel, because I honestly love this car, and I still think there are very exciting things about it, like the FA24. It's one of the most remarkable Subaru engines that have ever been made, and the fact that they put it in this car and gave it to us is incredible. Because the fact that I can make 400 plus crank horsepower for $31,000 is mind-boggling. It's pretty much never been done. Yeah, sure, you might say, oh, I can get an old Civic and put this engine in it. I'm just saying that this is groundbreaking. But here's the biggest piece of disappointment, is the fact that this S210 was delivered with an automatic transmission. And now it's not disappointing for the S210, which I'm sure actually it probably is for a lot of folks, but it's really disappointing for the entirety of the future of this car brand. Now, they still are producing manuals. The manuals are still the largely, greater portion of these cars that are produced in terms of the WRX. But if they're making the flagship, this is supposed to be the best car and the craziest thing that we've produced in the last couple of years as an automatic, what does that say about what they're going to do when they release the next generation STI? Or is that going to be it? Are we going to see an automatic STI, which I think at its core breaks the roots of what this is? And I'll go one step further. You can't really have a rally car in most consumer use that isn't a manual, right? And I understand there are people that need automatics, and I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't have them, because you should. There are reasons that you need to drive an automatic, but I'm just saying that from a rally perspective, it's really hard to have this conversation and not be a manual. And that's, I'll be honest, that's coming from somebody that's driven a manual for 7+ years, and I'm starting to get sick of it in certain instances. I'm getting to the point in my life where I'd like to have an automatic in my driveway for the times that I want an automatic and don't want to drive a manual. So I'm also not trying to say that I'm some weird fanatic of, must be manual or die, right? It's not the case. But I'm just worried that this is pushing us in the wrong direction, that now Subaru feels that maybe they're trying to compete with Hyundai or something, where I honestly think that they've outcompeted all these other brands. They need to capitalize on it, and I don't really understand why that's happening. So a lot of my disappointment has come from Subaru has continuously had all these opportunities to show us that they're going to deliver a car that most of the enthusiast community wants, and yet they continue to not do it. Now, I'm not trying to say that there aren't people that aren't excited about it, because there are other aspects other than just power and the transmission on this car that are exciting. But look, it's not like, it's about the whole picture, unfortunately. And we have to look at the whole picture, because that's what Subaru is doing. So if Subaru is telling us the whole picture is reflective of low power and an automatic transmission, I'm not as excited about an STI coming. And I'll be honest, my prediction in terms of when the STI will come out has just pushed back further and further, and I'm a little less excited. I'm a little less optimistic. So what I've done, and I will say I've put my money where my mouth is here, I've bought an older gen WRX. Well, again, I don't want to fully announce that yet, but I guess I just already have. But I'm not looking to the future anymore, because I'm a little worried. I'm not a little bit worried. I'm pretty worried that we're not going to see something that exciting. I'm hoping the FA24 and this engine continues to progress with Subaru, because I think that is very exciting. I'm just worried that the rest of the car isn't going to go in the direction that we want. And that's why I didn't make the S210 a news announcement video, and that's why I wanted to wait and mull over the creation of this video, because a lot of you guys are going to say, wow, this is just a really negative video, but at some level it is a negative video, and it's something that I wanted to talk about and bring to the channel and have everybody kind of be exposed to, because I think there are aspects that, like when Subaru does this, it really shows a lot about their supply chain, their development chain, and what they think the consumer body wants. And I gotta say, the majority of you guys are watching this video are probably like me, where it's like, I don't really want that. And that's really confusing to me, because yeah, I know that the sales are changing. I know that the demographic is changing for who's buying this car. I know that more automatic WRXs are selling than they've ever sold, but I still don't understand why Subaru thinks that they're going to be able to completely wipe out the enthusiast community, because ultimately that's the play that they're doing. They're trying to make this more of a consumer car, which is fine. I just think it's a little bit disappointing. So that's the video. I hate making these videos because I hate negative videos. I'm trying not to do this anymore on the channel. Not that I made a lot of negative videos before, but this channel is going to become like true car build. I mean, money where my mouth is. I just bought a car that isn't running, blown engine. So we're going to make a big change on this channel. Not that you aren't going to get the Subaru news stuff anymore, but we're going to be doing a lot more in-depth videos. So that's the reason to click the subscribe button that's below me that I'm kind of like standing on right now. But otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video.